I like how he goes, I know the media has the guys that they've circled in on, but then he seemingly kind of concedes, but I understand why you have come up with those names as your selections. Did that feel like a fair interpretation of that?
Yeah, I think over time, I think it probably frustrates the Jones family that the media keeps getting maybe a little bit smarter and a little bit smarter, and they already know the two guys you're targeting, right? And he's like, dang it, I don't want to talk about this yet. Like, I know in the next 2 weeks to 2 months, they're going to have to make decisions on to cut these players or keep these players. Mm-hmm. But he's just like, well, you guys have targeted them. Why do you think we have? We're not stupid. We're not, hey, what do you think about Ezekiel Elliott? We all know he's on the team. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You're not cutting him and eating $31 million. So we know the two guys that you're thinking about releasing.
It is, I don't know, is there any negotiation still that can be done there? Because
yes.
that's the feeling is I have to work something out with these guys, or attempt to work something out with these guys first. I can't do this job if I'm telling you that I'm targeting this defensive end and this stuff like that.
Do you want to focus on DeMarcus Lawrence then for these purposes?
Yeah.
The negotiation level is significantly lower with Amari Cooper because the savings are so high. Like, if you move on from Amari Cooper, just this year alone, you'll save $16 million and your future dead cap is nothing. Okay? So, like, you just need to decide one way or another. Now, for DeMarcus Lawrence, if you move on from him now, you can save $8 million and eat all that dead cap. I feel like DeMarcus Lawrence is worth more than $8 million.
Yeah,
or you can save $17.5 million, which that's your determination. Is he worth that? But then also you'd have a dead cap hit next year of $9.5 million, which is a massive dead cap hit. So what you need to do with him is he willing to take a pay cut? And that's essentially what it comes down to, because his cap number this year is $27 million. Actual factual money he's getting this year is $24 million. Can you negotiate some of that down? Because on the open market, he's not going to get $24 million. But how much could he get on the open market? And so that becomes the question.
$25 million.
Okay, well, then he'd tell you to F off with your pay cut. Right. But if you think the open market is going to get you $18 million, all right, well, let's figure out a way that we can finagle this number down $4 million, and then you just save $4 million without having to cut and without having to necessarily extend a contract. But some people also see that as a sign of disrespect. And you're like, well, you want to cut me? Go ahead and cut me.
Yeah, I understand the disrespect part. And do you think you can get respect elsewhere? Like just playing for the same amount of money? Do you would that be something that you're open to?
Because we've seen that in the past.
Or are you like, you know what? I like it. I like it in Dallas. I like it the Frisco area.
I do think there's a lot of pride and ego when it comes to that. Like, I'm not taking a pay cut from you guys.
Yeah.
But if I go sign another place for the same amount of money that Dallas was going to give me off of a pay cut, it doesn't hurt my ego as much, because that team's saying they want me for $15 million. You guys are saying you're $5 million less than what we were going to pay you. And so there's a lot of ego there going, 15 is a fine number over here. 15 is a insult over, back with Dallas type of deal.
That's what makes the DeMarcus Lawrence contract, to me, just so much more complicated. Because like I said, Amari Cooper, look, he's a great player. But if you want to get rid of him, your real savings right now is $16 million. Your dead cap in the future is nothing. All right? Your dead cap hit is all now, and it's only $6 million. All right? So you can rip the Band-Aid off, move on. With DeMarcus Lawrence, you're either going to take a ginormous dead cap hit or you're going to take it next year, and that's going to sit with you. And that's why the renegotiation with him is so important. With Amari Cooper, what are you renegotiating? Like, if he wants to renegotiate, rock on. But the Cowboys can move on free and clear. He can move on free and clear. Whatever.
Does that... All right. A lot of, the cap matters so much now.
It does.
Would you want the player?
I do want at least one of them.
I would like to have them both back. If you're going to make kind of a Super Bowl run, I would feel like losing Amari Cooper would hurt. But here, as I'm pulling up the stats real quick, Amari Cooper last year was 34th in yards in the NFL, receiving yards. Catches, he had 68. Touchdowns, he did have 8, and I'd have to click on where that, puts him in the NFL. But and I'm not disputing great player, right? But when you said great player, usually you don't say the guy who was 34th in receiving yards in the NFL is a great player. He tied for 16th in touchdown catches last year. So when you are paying a guy over $20 million to be a wide receiver, you wouldn't expect 34th in yards and 16th in touchdown catches.
Yeah. And I get it. And I also do we push to him? Do you say, you know what, we're going to make him, you're our focal point.